Welcome back. Our next student today is Anna Kouchnerov. Anna Kouchnerov is a first-generation Ukrainian violinist and composer. She was raised in Los Angeles and completed her undergraduate studies in classical performance at UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music. In 2019, she joined Bridge to Everywhere, a multi-genre ensemble dedicated to interweaving musical traditions through composition. In addition to performance, Kouchnerov is an experienced music instructor and advocate for arts education. Anna's committee member is Assistant Professor Patricia Sarati. Her advisor is Professor Witness Matlu. Please welcome to the stage Anna Kouchnerov.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, thank you. Why the Wolf Howls, searching for musical identity through polycultural explorations. I'm here to talk about how creative expression functions as a call for connection. A wolf howls for its pack. Whether it be a cry of pain or joy, every sentient being seeks compassion from others and a sense of belonging in this world. Being here at the Global Jazz Institute and writing music with a polycultural or global-minded approach has allowed me to dig deeper into celebrating the unity of cultures over the realization of common ground as a transformative and multidimensional exchange. As a body, everyone is single, as a soul never. Hermann Hesse created this deep literary work, Steppenwolf, as a way of reconciling the dark and light sides of self and society. The way he uses his writing to answer deeper questions about himself influenced me greatly, and likewise, I will be presenting 5 pieces today which attempt to capture similar search for my own equanimity. That said, I'd like to present my first piece, which I wrote as inspired by divine presence in nature. Many ancient epistemologies deemed the wolf as a sacred protector who reigns supreme as a guardian of balance. There's a well-known indigenous parable about 2 wolves. The dark one is bad and the light is good. The one you feed grows stronger. Yet if you choose to feed only the light, the dark one will grow hungry. So consider the version of this story where these 2 wolves are both fed and cared for. Musically, I represent this process through an exercise of fear training, as it's called at the Global Jazz Institute. Fear training allows for space to practice the process of feeding both wolves, or being open to the unknown, which could be dark or light. Paired with a poem I wrote about manifesting fate through faith, I allowed a humbling experience, welcoming uncertainty in the creative process so that it could lead to something meaningful. Here is this God. Thank you. Praying to our ancestors, like seeking guidance from a higher power, is sacred correspondence. Stories of our grandparents' youth often carry the same magic as folk tales. They're fragments of our roots which provide a sense of identity through time. My family's from Belarus and Ukraine, a place I often visited in my own youth. In this piece, I revitalize the memory of my late grandfather from one of the last times I saw him alive. We were sitting at his kitchen table, looking through a photo album, and that same day, we took a walk to the Pishersky Lavra monastery in the heart of Kiev. I recorded his voice, the bells, and the birds I heard that day. When listening back to the recordings, I found myself reminded of a famous Ukrainian folk song. It's all connected, and all the things I love about my culture, from the elegance of the Eastern Orthodox churches to those noisy swallows, remind me of what I've lost. Since my grandparents are no longer in this plane, I use music to send a call to wherever they are, and it has always been successful in bringing them close. Before the clip, for church bells, you will hear a reference to the folk song I mentioned, which is called Shedrik, and see images of the monastery and swallows I talked about. You will also hear my grandfather's voice.
Это 20-летие было, 8, и мы в 66-м году закончили, это 86-й год, это 20 лет после окончания института. Так, я все смотрю. О, это в армии. Я был старшиной, это был актер. Жены офицеров нам преподавали, нас готовили. Это математика,
It's not possible for me to speak of memories visiting Ukraine without bringing up the horrible war that continues to tear it apart. So much of what I remember has been completely obliterated, and the ceaseless chaos, psychological torments Ukrainians are enduring right now are unimaginable. And worse still is that this is not the only murderous calamity happening in the world at this time. So how can one feel hope for humanity witnessing all this? How can one feel anything at all? Improvisation can help us with emotional processing. This piece explores compromising around a melody and entering zero gravity, or a space which exists for musicians to courageously respond to one another, despite there being no form, no direction, and no rules. Inspired by the Ukrainian soldiers at Ground Zero making the ultimate sacrifice, With vigilance and heightened sensitivity, we venture forth, using music as a chance to embrace interconnectedness and the prospect of creating a brighter future together. This is Lament. I know we've felt a lot of heaviness so far, so now I'd like to show the lighter side. This piece is named after the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. It's a phrase similar to what goes up must come down. It suggests that an individual has the power to shape their own reality if they work in harmony with the laws of the universe. Our minds have this superpower to manifest, overcome trials, and invoke positive change. This commitment and mental focus, I believe, is what gives rise to mastery, and what Wayne Shorter meant by his eminent words, I dare you. I dare you to let go of your insecurities, emancipate your mind, so that your heart may roam free. So here, I would like to show my ensemble in the studio for As Above. If you so choose, try and see if you can follow the steady pulse of the half note underneath all the changing meters. Thank you. Finally, Blue Sun. It is one thing to transform trauma and sadness alone. It's another to foster this type of healing on a communal level. The title Blue Sun actually refers to a term I created about being at an optimal state of being. The sun has the ability to give and take away life. So too, our minds can provoke psychological demise or liberation. When a flame burns at its highest temperature, it turns blue, which I view as a color of strength. In thinking about community, I believe we are meant to trigger each other's shadows, to better learn how to support each other's authentic selves. Together, we can then burn brightest and make up this vision of a blue sun, a stronger group, united by the full acceptance of our dark and light sides. At the Global Jazz Institute, if ideas are loyally tended to, they will grow and change everyone for the better. Now, before I play my last clip, I'd like to conclude by returning to Hermann Hesse's Steppenwolf. When Pablo, a passionate character who's also happens to be a jazz musician, is asked about the point of music, this is how he responds. There is no point one can speak of. It exists to be made as well and as much as possible with all the intensity of which one is capable. So with that in mind, I hope to continue creating, continue the howling, and trust that people and opportunities meant for me will be listening and ready to answer. Thank you. you all. Special thanks to this incredible community and some sources amongst many. Thank you.
Beautiful presentation, Anna.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to pass the
Alex.
word. Hi. I would love to pass the word to a committee member, Patricia Cerati.
Anna, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you've worked very hard for this presentation, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and your music it's so beautiful and it has so much potential. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to seeing your growth as a musician forever.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and I know I had a question before, and I am gonna post this question here today about your interest and your knowledge also to pursue maybe music as a tool for therapy, but also from a scientific perspective. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a slide. If you wouldn't mind that I go to it, because this is actually a very important tool I believe we have at our disposal as educators and as musicians, finding that meeting ground for artistic practice to be used with science to better understand how physiologically we work. Then maybe we can debunk some of the myths, we can sort through all of the fake information we're faced with daily. We can learn to trust in our own senses, both physically, mentally, emotionally. And I think turning not only to scientific explanations, but looking deeper towards indigenous epistemologies, that's also a passion of mine, considering that with all the folk music I study, all the folk music I love, there's always a very deep, rich tradition that is vastly different, and yet there are still similarities. I'm going to try not to get carried away. So, specifically the physiological effects of both brutality and kindness, how it can stay in the body for a long time. Our brains have this phenomenal capability called neuroplasticity. For those who are unaware, this is where neural networks reorganize themselves to accommodate or assimilate new information. Learning difficult music, like as above, this helps internalize multiple rhythm cycles at the same time. It can set your mind free because you've taught your body to share the burden, to share the workload. And it was one of the first exercises we did here at the Global Jazz Institute with Maestro Danilo Perez. And I believe that it was extremely important, if not the most important place to start, because maintaining calm engagement when you're doing anything difficult, but especially difficult grooves, this represents the power of opposite energies working together. And I actually have a deep interest to continue connecting various traditions around the world through rhythm. As you can hear in my music, the piece you heard as above, the mission here was actually to feel like you're not being tossed around by irregular rhythms. It's actually finding the regularity within irregularity. So we're working with a paradoxical perspective in order to find some peace, in order to find a foundation when you're dealing with something that can pose a challenge. If anything, it can omit or decrease the chatter in your brain. I know I have a lot of that. So personally, whenever I play music that has complex rhythms, it's possibly why I'm also really attracted to it. It forces that voice to shut up, even for just a moment. Because in that moment in time, it's all about somatically feeling that groove and not letting go of it. And I love that feeling. I think that there's a deep wisdom there. And I think that I will be pursuing this knowledge in all ways, in many cultures, and trying to find those connecting points, because it's extremely valuable. And it makes you write music where there's something for everyone in the end.
Thank you. I'd like to give the word to Witness Matlu.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, global jazz, the Global Jazz Institute. You took us through the sounds of North Africa. I've had India. I've had America. I've had folk music. I've had jazz. I've had the church bells of Ukraine. So thank you for bringing that global sound together. And I'm so happy for the time that we've worked together, those weekly meetings for the CE advising and, finding how all of this can come together. And here you are.
Yeah.
See, it's so much.
Thank you.
You've done so much. Yeah, thank you for, for your dedication and for your hard work. And there's so much courage in your work, and the courage that we're hearing, the courage that's reflected in you, and the connections that you've made with everything you're talking about. The courage of the soldiers at the front line. That's zero gravity right there. They don't know what the outcome could be, right? Yeah. That's zero gravity. They're exercising zero gravity right there. And the connection you've made with him and his, through the novel. And I mean, we're talking about an author who has also had to deal with challenges in society and reflections, and sometimes writing against wars, right? He's writing against war, and sometimes it means, having the courage to say, I'm leaving this country. I'm going to live in another country because I don't agree with what they're doing here. That takes courage, for someone to do that. Thank you. So I got excited, very much excited, when I hear the sounds of North Africa, and I'm going to frame this in the form of a question. That I can see you go to Morocco and researching more on Ghanaian music and all those musicians, the bands that you've told me about. I can see you with them. I can see you working with them. I can see you, contributing. Your music can have contributions here in America, but also the contribution that you could make in these communities that whose music you are sharing with us. And I wanted to hear what your plans are moving forward. Whether you're going to go and do field work in Morocco, and how all of this comes together in the form of education and giving back to communities. Thank you.
Well, you know what I'm about, Witness, and I was this close to being in Morocco right now with the Berklee exchange program, but it's always next year. So there are a couple of things I want to speak on to that question, that beautiful question. Thank you. So though this project was about understanding my identity, I feel like there's still plenty of room to keep expanding. I think what this year has given me is a great definition of what we can think of as a paradigm of identity, which is an active process existing in a continual state of flux. And much like the interactivity of relationships we maintain with each other. So ultimately, after being at a global program, I feel like the next step is to go out into the world, is to harness the courage that I was able to create from nothing with these pieces, with the music, and then put that into action. And yes, I want to continue studying Moroccan music. I'm intending to be looking for teachers, or masterful teachers, malems as they're called, here in the US, over in Brooklyn, in Morocco, everywhere I can. because it's a music that I'm very curious about. I'm curious about the healing quality of it. It's not for nothing that I was drawn to Moroccan music, Gnawan Moroccan music, out of all the music out there. So just for context, I'd like to play like a 10-second clip of actually what Gnawa music sounds like. It's a beautiful, beautiful culture, and I'm happy to report too that women are becoming part of this conversation more in this century than ever before. So it's another passion of mine actually to be studying music, especially if there's a new discourse happening and if women are being included where they haven't been before. This is truly impactful. On that note, actually, there is an instrument I've been curious about since I was in high school. It's called the imzad. So the imzad is actually a one-stringed fiddle that is native to Tuareg communities. And what's really special about this instrument is that it is actually traditionally played only by women, and it's used to tell stories. And it is a dying tradition. It's not one that's often practiced enough that it can be shared within the communities themselves, let alone to the rest of the world. And yes, I have a selfish desire to just go and learn as much as I can for myself, but I know that I have a teacher's proclivity, a teacher's soul, and I think that I would go with the intention of learning as much as I can so that whatever I do, it's with this balance. I mean, I'm searching for it in my music with dark and light and everything, so I don't see it possible that I could go somewhere and just take. I feel like I can't tell you what I'll do or what kind of initiative I'll end up leading, but the intent of going somewhere with the hope that I can find a way to give essentially is going to be the answer of what I'll get in return. So it's only pure excitement at this point, whether I'll be applying for grants to travel to North Africa, whether I'll be pursuing a PhD, which is the hope in the next year, and to be, of course, studying with masters, continue to compose, continue to work with great minds, and seek out the teachers that I need in order to continue developing my artistic voice and collaborate. As I mentioned in the last quote, that was always a problem of mine, that I would freeze and stop, and I would stop writing music, and I would stop creating. So as long as I just keep playing, as long as I keep composing and making something creative, the way will show itself. So through the process, I'll find the answers.
Thank you. Up next, we have Nadia Washington.
Anna, you did it. It's beautiful. The music is incredible. Oh my goodness. The breathing worked, huh? Wow, I'm just so blown away. And it's just, of course, as you know, because we have such a limited time here, we're only scratching the surface, with, deciding what it is that we want to pursue or how we want to become practitioners and with this music. And I just say you have a wealth of musical ideas and stories and your instrument and in your body, that you are going to just really, really grow and blossom into something that's really, really powerful in the world of music and folklore, especially for your instrument, which is just really, really inspiring. And I don't want to take too long because I have so many questions. First off, because it's like, man, if I would have closed my eyes, I wouldn't have known that that wasn't a North African person playing. I was like, hey now, what drew you?
That's great. That's awesome.
What drew you? What is it about that sound that?
I've been thinking about that. I think that, first of all, the number one, and also just a principle here at Global, is that when you're in the land of cross rhythms, polyrhythms, you're essentially creating a musical soundscape that allows you to exist with contradictory elements working together. And so there's something really incredible. It's a phenomena in and of itself that for centuries it makes us move, it makes us come together, it makes us want to engage in, I think, the best aspects of humanity, which is connection and love, and this desire to be a part of something rather than responsible for or solely independent in one's own way. I think this fascination with rhythm that I most certainly have is because it's grounded in looking for what drives the best parts of humanity. And I think that there is something there. There's something also in melody and harmony, but I think rhythm comes first, and I'm still working that one out. So, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's beautiful. And do you have any other upcoming pursuits? Because I remember you mentioning that you were going to go and work at a dementia center.
I've been very lucky. I was connected through the wonderful people at the Berklee Global Jazz Institute to this facility in Norwell, the Cordwainer. So I was really struck when I visited them a month ago by the approach they have. They're trying to create and looking for individuals like myself who want to craft a curriculum that would use music to connect to poetry or to, some easy kinesthetic movements and something beautiful that might even be tucked into something familiar or not. And so I'm very interested in pursuing this challenge, even if it is for just a month, but I'll be starting this summer position next week. No rest for the weary. So, it's going to be a very fulfilling experience. I think a challenging one, but also I've met the people. I spent some time with these kind souls, and I feel like actually it's not going to be as tiring or as difficult as I think, and it's going to be a magical experience learning what works and what. When you're in that kind of situation, you don't know what is going to stay with you, what kind of memories are going to be created that they'll stick with you for the rest of your life. So, we'll see. We'll see. I have a plan for 1 month, and then ask me again in August. I think it's how it goes. We just see what the next opportunity, what kind of opportunities present themselves when the right time arrives.
Beautiful. And I just want to remind you, because I see a lot of correlations with my journey as an artist and as a developing practitioner in music. I just want to encourage you to don't stop.
Thank you.
Don't stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nadia. I would like to invite our artistic director, Danilo Perez.
Anna, congratulations. Wow. Describing the journey, the first time I met you, and you were in the pursuance of knowledge, and really like, I want to get this Ganawa music, and I want to do this, you know. So I remember at one time, one lesson, we turned that into an experience for everybody to experience that. I don't know if you all remember that. And we started dancing and try to feel the beat, because the thing about this music is it's not the normal 6/8 that we are used to. This music has that feel on the second triplet that we talk about it. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so the two and the two part of the triplet becomes almost like one after a while. And to me, that's such a sacred place in a lot of the music that hit that I hear. And to hear that beginning, when I remember you were addressing this rhythm, and to hear it presented today, congratulations! You did a wonderful work, and it took a lot of your energy to put this together, I can see, and the whole narrative of the connection with the wolf, and the pursuit of the divine, and the connection with your grandfather, and the church, and the religious experience. I can see the work of an artist looking for revealing, like, who am I, where I come from, how do I express that in music, and it's felt in this project. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
A reminder that sometimes what we see in the world and the difficulties we're going for, just to remember that they should sometimes act also as an inspiration, like the resistance should act as an inspiration to pursue things like you just did today. That should never forget that resistance is important in the creation. In other words, chaos is important in the creation for order. You have to have that yin and yang in life. And sometimes the experience at global seems like people are throwing things at you every week. But look, when you have the time to reflect on it, look at the type of work you come out with, and you are a hero for doing that. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your journey and support you. Chapter 1 of your life. You have a journey here. Believe in yourself. You're doing it.
Thank you for believing in me. Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Anna. Big round of applause for Anna, please.